Hi stamping friends, Melissa Kerman here with Melissa's Crafting Treehouse. Today I have a club project to share with you. The project is actually cased from Kylie Bertucci from Australia. I did put my own spin by choosing my own colors for it, and I have done it in two different color schemes. I'm using a brand new product called the lovely Floral Embossing folder, and then I'm going to be using some of the in colors that are retiring as of May 31st. I'll also be using the Flourishing Phrases stamp set, one of the sentiments in that set. Today I'll be demonstrating this card in the red color scheme, but I also did this blue version as well, and all the ink colors will be included on my blog, and there's a link to my blog in the video description below. So for this project I'm using the Stamparatus, and I have set up my stamp in just the right position so that it will stamp the sentiment in the lower right hand corner of my Whisper White piece of cardstock. And I'm doing the stamping first so that I can then position the embossing folder exactly where I want it relative to the sentiment. So one of the great benefits of the Stamparatus is that if you ink up your image and the way it stamps is not exactly as you might like, not as much color as you might like, you can ink it up again like I just did and stamp it again, and it'll be exactly over the original image. So next I'm going to do my dry embossing, and first I'm testing out which side is which, and so I want to get the debossed image, so I want the shape of the flower to be pushed in rather than out for to get the look that I'm trying to achieve. So I've positioned that at an angle, as you can see, with the idea that I just want to sort of wrap it around the sentiment. So this is a textured impressions embossing folder, which means it's designed to give you a very deep impression. So I just took that piece of paper and sprayed it with water, and that helps loosen the fibers so you can get that deep impression. And it is important that you spray it with water. And I turned it over, of course, so you're not spraying the side with ink on it. Otherwise, of course, the ink will bleed. So now I just ran it through the Big Shot, as you saw, and I've got my impression. I'm going to start with my sponging. So I'm starting with my cherry cobbler. This is my darkest, richest color. This color is staying in the catalog, and I'm really glad for that because I love cherry cobbler. And I'm just choosing some select spots to sponge on. And I've got a little handle on my sponge, and that allows me to hold it with maybe getting a little less ink on my fingers. And I can sort of squinch it up, squish it up, so the sponge is kind of on the small side, so I can control where I'm actually sponging. And I just did the rose red, and now I'm coming in with the tangerine tango. These two colors, the tangerine tango and rose red, are retiring with the catalog going away as of May 31st. And so I'm just kind of doing my fine tuning. I started with the one cherry cobbler, and then I'm coming back in and just sort of touching it up where I want some additional color. And doing some sponging around the bottom, around the sentiment, just to get the look that I'm looking for. So now all I really have to do is my final assembly, and I gave myself two options for the card base, either a Tangerine Tango or the Rose Red option. And so I'm going to show you just what they each look like and see what you think. So I've just attached my cherry cobbler layer to the focal piece, and now I got one more layer of white. So now I'm pulling in my two different card bases to make my decision of which one I like better. And I chose the rose red base. It actually makes the Tangerine Tango show up a little bit better, the sponged part anyway. At least that's what I thought. And now I'm just attaching the final pieces, and I'm all done. So here are my final cards. While I did stamp the sentiment first in this demonstration, club members will get their piece of Whisper White dry embossed with the embossing folder ahead of time. And so I will position it up high so there's plenty of room for a sentiment down below. I hope you've enjoyed the project today, and will come back soon and visit me. Have a great day. Happy crafting.